Okay, picture this. You are agonizing over a decision. You know the feeling, right? You've weighed the pros and cons, you've lost sleep, you're literally pacing the floor. It feels like the stakes could not possibly be any higher. But then, the moment you finally make the call, the anxiety just vanishes. Suddenly, you feel totally secure. Well, today in this explainer, we're looking at the completely fascinating way your brain takes those tough decisions and literally edits the tape to make you feel better.
So really think about it. Have you ever made a genuinely tough choice and then almost instantly felt completely, undeniably sure it was the right one? That transition from absolute psychological agony to total relief is such a universal human experience. Because when you're standing at a crossroads, making a choice you can't take back is painful. But what if I told you that this sudden clarity, this rush of confidence you feel, is completely manufactured? It all comes down to what we can call the no going back trigger. The thing is, once you commit to a choice, you can't take it back. And according to the research, that exact realization, knowing there's no going back, is what flips a switch and triggers a massive psychological rewrite in your brain. You see, being uncertain about whether you chose the right path actually registers as psychological pain. Your brain absolutely hates that feeling. It wants to protect you from the sheer agony of second-guessing yourself. So how does it fix it? Not by going out and finding new reassuring information. Actually, it resolves the pain by editing the information you already have stored right there in your head. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Editing the memory, or how your brain rewrites history. So your brain isn't just acting as a passive recording device here. It's more like an active video editor, selectively cutting and highlighting the footage of your own life. There is actually a formal scientific name for this mental editing process. It's called choice supportive bias, or sometimes you'll hear it referred to as post-decisional dissonance. Basically, your brain looks backward in time and suddenly starts assigning a whole bunch of really positive attributes to the option you just picked. It selectively highlights everything great about the winner, while quietly, sweeping all the loser's good traits right under the rug. And this mental editing process, it is the absolute core of our explainer today. Now you might think, oh, I just convinced myself over a few weeks or months, but no. Studies using advanced brain imaging show this biological rewrite doesn't happen slowly over a long period of reflection. It can actually begin within just 3 seconds of making your choice. 3 seconds. The memory of why I picked this and why I rejected that splits from reality the exact moment your decision is finalized. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. Imagine the two options sitting on a scale. Before the choice, they're nearly perfectly balanced, right? That's exactly why the choice was so agonizing in the first place. But the moment you decide, your brain sneakily puts its thumb on the scale. It quietly inflates the winner, making its positive qualities seem way more prominent and important than they originally were. And at the exact same time, it quietly deflates the loser, downplaying its benefits and totally magnifying its flaws. The reality of that close call is just erased, replaced by this fictional landslide victory. Moving on to part 2, the amnesia proof, a reflex, not a narrative. So you have to ask, is this just us being stubborn? Is it just human pride? Well, to answer that, we have to look at this absolute classic amnesia study. Researchers tested people with severe amnesia, people who literally could not consciously remember making a choice at all. They had them make a selection and then tested them just minutes later. And the findings are incredible. Despite having zero conscious memory of choosing, they still rated their chosen option significantly higher and the rejected option significantly lower. They had absolutely no memory of the decision, yet the bias fired anyway.
I mean, think about what that data really means. It tells us something incredibly profound about human nature. This memory rewrite, it's not a story you're telling yourself on purpose. It's not driven by ego. It is certainly not about saving face in front of your friends or family. It is an automatic survival mechanism. Your brain does this even when there is no conscious you left to protect. It operates much, much closer to a low-level biological reflex.
Which brings us to part 3, the cost of regret, why the brain bothers. So, the crucial point is, why does the brain go through all this trouble to basically lie to us about our own past? Well, because if your memory faithfully and accurately preserved just how incredibly close that runner-up option really was, you would be second-guessing yourself forever, obsessing over the shirt you didn't buy, the job offer you didn't take, the route you didn't drive. That is biologically expensive. Regret carries a massive metabolic and emotional cost that your brain simply cannot afford to pay on a daily basis. Ultimately, the brain trades accuracy for stability. Your brain is essentially manufacturing a highly edited version of the decision just to give you some peace of mind. By the time you look back and quote-unquote remember the decision later on, you aren't really remembering the decision at all. You're remembering a polished post-production version that your brain manufactured specifically to make you feel stable and content. Let's move to part 4, the illusion of certainty, and see how this builds into the paradigm-shifting catch. Because here's the real catch. This hidden brain hack doesn't just apply to minor things like picking a shirt. No way. We apply this exact same false certainty to our most monumental life choices. We're talking about choosing a car, committing to a lifelong partner, selecting a career path. People look back at these massive milestones and feel absolutely certain they were the obvious, right calls. But at the time, that original decision was very likely a highly uncertain, incredibly stressful toss-up. We just literally don't remember it that way anymore. And this brings us to a pretty tough but absolutely vital realization. Confidence is not evidence you chose well. I really want that to sink in for a second. Just because you feel incredibly confident about a past choice today doesn't mean it was objectively the best option. That confidence just means your memory did its job flawlessly. It means the reflex worked. It successfully made the choice feel irreversible and right, regardless of whether or not it actually was. Which leaves us with this final, lingering question to ponder today. I want you to think about a major decision in your past that you feel absolute, unwavering certainty about. Are you truly certain because it was undeniably the right path from day one? Or did your brain just quietly edit the tape to save you from the pain of what could have been? It's a pretty fascinating thought, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it completely changes how you view your own memory. Until next time, keep questioning what you think you know.